Hey gang, my name is Alex Rhodes, and this is the aptly named Alex Rhodes Show featuring independent artists, interviews with those artists, their songs, and sometimes live performances. We talk about the art, the music, the deep stuff, how it all relates to marketing, which is a necessity in today's world, and then we chat all around silliness. This show airs live each week, Mondays from 7 to 9 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 to 10 p.m. Central, and 6 to 8 Pacific Time on kpeo.org, World Community Radio. But for you modern-day listeners who don't believe in appointment-based entertainment, I edit it to podcast form every week, most weeks. My guest today is Ellsworth, a singer-songwriter, folk artist living in Denver, Colorado. Welcome to episode 2. Some shameless self-promotion real quick before we get into the interview. I will be playing at Beto Bistro in Longmont, January 20th. The Backyard in Castle Rock, January 28th. Beto Bistro again on February 2nd. And with my good friend Renee Moffat at the Molecule Effect for a song swap on February 11th. Now, I first saw Ellsworth playing with the band Sister Neopolitan, and Sister Neopolitan opened for a mutual friend of ours, Shana in a Dress. She had an album release party in 2019. After seeing them open up, I had to check out their site. I caught them live again, and I was hooked. Super hooky melodies, a lot of harmonies as well, and it turns out Ellsworth and I know a lot of people in the same circles, and we've been in a songwriting group together, but this is actually the first time we've met in person. Ellsworth released her debut album, the aptly titled Ellsworth, in 2021, and it's available now on all streaming platforms. The album features her dreamlike vocals, bright melodies, and ruminative lyrics. Matt Hoffman at Hoffman Melody Shop in Denver, Colorado did a masterful job producing and arranging the tracks on the album, and it was mixed and mastered by Ben Pisano. Ellsworth's been compared to top-tier artists such as Regina Spektor and Angus and Julia Stone with her melancholic flair on the folk genre. Her award-winning song, Close the Door, serves as an anthem for listeners who are in search for meaning. Ellsworth is a story of self-love and encapsulates what happens when true talent finds their voice, says Evangeline W. of the Freelance Music Reviewer. If you'd like to support this show in a monetary way or a non-monetary way, let me know. One way to do it, head to alexrhodesshow.com and be unique. Buy a CD. No one does that these days. You can be the person who does it. I'd love it if you could give this podcast or video a 5-star review or a thumbs up. Let's get to it. You are listening to the Alex Rhodes Show, broadcasting live from Denver, Colorado, and Toronto, Canada. This is KPEO,
and
World
like
Community Radio.
That guy just said,
This is the Alex Rhodes Show, and this is Alex Rhodes. It's Monday night on KPEO.org. Thanks for tuning in. It is a special night live in the studio tonight. We have Ellsworth. Not only is she in the studio, she's also the crowd noise. Super pumped to have Ellsworth here tonight. She's going to play some songs for us. We're going to play some of her songs. Let's start by getting to know ya.
Yeah.
Tell us the most feared interview question of all. Who are you?
Who are you? What do you do? Why are you here? My name is Ellsworth. That's actually my last name. My first name's Megan. So you can call me Megan or you can, either or. And I'm originally from Oregon, Sisters, Oregon, and I moved here for college to go to the University of Colorado, and I graduated in 2020.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It was a heck of a year to graduate.
It was a very weird and sad time, but I'm so glad that I graduated and I'm not in school anymore. But I really enjoyed it. I was a songwriting and music business double major at UCD, and now I just doing music pretty much almost full time. Not really, but hopefully in a year or two, completely full time.
All right. We're going to jump into work in a second, but tell me, where is Sisters, Oregon, geographically?
Sisters, Oregon is in central Oregon, so the Cascade Mountains kind of split Oregon down the middle slightly, and so Sisters is right nestled in the Cascade Mountains on the east side.
And the Cascades, I've never been, but I have friends who have camped there for weeks on end. It's gorgeous, right?
Gorgeous. Yeah, I loved growing up there, and I was just a mountain child.
Dare I ask you to compare those mountains to the Colorado mountains?
Oh my god. Okay, not gonna lie, a lot of Coloradans are gonna be mad at me, but I kind of like the Cascades more because A, I'm biased, and B, because I like the Rockies because it's like one giant wall. It's just like you're looking at like miles of mountains. Whereas in Oregon, the mountains are like a giant peak and then nothing and then a giant peak. And so it's like really like magnificent to look, and you're just staring at this like volcanic mountain that could erupt at any time. It's kind of dangerous. It's kind of fun. You're on the edge of your seat.
I like it. I'm sold. I'm going to the Cascades.
You should.
Now, I'm going to imagine that growing up in Central Oregon in such a majestic place. Wait, that's another mountain range there, isn't it? The Majestics?
Oh, is it?
Is it?
I don't know.
This became a geography lesson really quick.
Yeah.
I apologize. Tell me about Sisters. I imagine it's kind of an artsy town.
Yes.
Tell me if I'm right or wrong, and how did that influence you growing up?
Oh my gosh, so much. Yeah, Sisters is really similar to like Lyons, Colorado, or Pagosa Springs.
Lovely places in their own right.
Yes, or Boulder. It's like, imagine Boulder, but like teeny tiny, like population of like 3,000 people.
Oh wow.
And that was when I was going to high school. It was a population of 2,000, and so now it's grown a lot. And my graduating class was only 98 people my senior year of high school.
Wow. Okay.
And I went to a 2-room grade school, so I was the only 8th grader in my 8th grade year, and it's pretty wild. And there was only 2 rooms in the whole building, and it was K through 4th and then 4th through 8th. And I was in Camp Sherman, Oregon, which is technically where I grew up, which is 15 minutes outside of Sisters, more into the mountains.
Okay.
And that's a year-round population of like 300. But yeah, Sisters has its own folk festival. And the high school has this thing called Americana Project, which is what got me into songwriting and music, and I got really into folk music because of the festival. And it's very artsy. We also have a quilt show there, and quilting is very large,
okay.
and a rodeo. So it's kind of like a quirky, hippie cowboy town.
Quirky, hippie cowboy town.
Yeah.
Sisters, Oregon, everyone. Let's mark it on our lists. I gotta get there. All right. So, your parents, I imagine, moved there? Or did they grow up there as well?
Well, kind of. My mom grew up in Prineville, Oregon, which is cowboy.
Okay.
So, and she grew up on a ranch. My grandpa and my grandma were ranchers and farmers. And so she grew up on the east side. My dad grew up outside of Portland. So, kind of a city boy, and then my mom was a country girl. And I was born in Portland, so was my brother. And then we moved to Camp Sherman because my mom went to summer camp there and fell in love with it. And then it just so happened that my dad's family had a cabin there. And so when the cabin, we needed a place to live, and my dad's parents were like, you should live in the cabin. So my parents have lived in the Camp Sherman cabin ever since.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Camp Sherman, Oregon. There's a camp there. Is the camp still operating?
Oh yeah, there's tons of campsites. I worked at the store. It's like a general store. Like 3 summers in a row when I was in high school and early college. And there's one little post office, and there's one seasonal restaurant that goes from May to September.
All right.
Yep.
What kind of food does the restaurant serve?
It's a Mexican restaurant, and it's so good.
All right. So that gives us some background. We're going to listen to a song. I got a lot to digest. I got to look up the geography here on the internet. We're going to listen to Growing Pains by Ellsworth right now. Anything you want to tell us about this song?
It's about growing up with pains.
The best intro we've had. All right, Ellsworth, Growing Pains. Here we go.
Can you see me through the barbed wire? The bleeding's almost done. Caught up in the web of lies, my own mind spun. Can you see me through the window? I haven't cleaned in months. Didn't glamour a heart that didn't learn this young. Falling like a house of cards. I'm the queen of spades. Growing pain. My heart. There are cracks in the foundation that I was built upon. Filling them with pudding that should get the job done. The hands of time are slipping. My nails are nearly gone. Floor between the earth, this is what my mind's become. Falling like a house of cards. I'm the queen of spades. Growing pain. Falling like a house of cards. I'm the queen of spades.
You are no one ever.
You'll be hurt, and you will heal. It's all a part of the plan I did. It's a growing pain, and you will deal. It's all a part of the experience, my dear. Fall like a house of cards. I'm the queen of spades. Growing pain of my heart. Falling like a house of cards. I'm the queen of spades. Growing pain of my
All right, Growing Pains by Ellsworth. This is the Alex Rhodes Show on kpeo.org. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We have Ellsworth in the studio.
Hello.
You're supposed to be the fan base. All right. All right. It's just us. There's not a crowd, even though it sounds like it. We were just talking about Sisters, Oregon, growing up there in the town. It sounds like it's a very inspirational place to grow up. Write music, play music.
Absolutely.
Playing in a festival.
Yes, I played my first folk festival when I was 18 years old in 2016. I had just graduated high school and they asked me to play like a for real like artist set, and I was like, hold on, let me wipe my tears and then I'll accept. So yeah, I haven't been really back to play at the festival since, but hopefully in the next couple of years I'll get back there.
Were your parents in the crowd?
Oh my god, my entire family was in the crowd.
How many signs were they holding up?
No signs, thank God. We convinced my grandpa to not bring the cowbell. He wanted to. But
Okay, so the question I love to ask musicians, mostly because maybe it will help me as a musician.
love it.
Why do you play music?
Yes. That's such a good and difficult question. I think I play music because it is such an incredible outlet, emotionally, and like just to, you can kind of talk about things in songs that you can't really say to a person all the time, or even to yourself. Sometimes like I'll just be free writing and something will come out, like a line or something, and it's kind of like, oh man, do I need to think about that? Like, am I okay? Like, where did that come from? And so, yeah, it's definitely, I'm really grateful to have songwriting as an emotional release and outlet. And I struggle with anxiety and depression, and I have panic disorder, and so does my dad. And so I kind of grew up around like mental health matters, and so I think my songwriting definitely carries that very deeply. And also, like, I love it. I get on stage and it's like my truest form, and I feel so free. It's like, it's amazing. I don't know. Performing specifically is like my favorite part of my job.
Okay. Now I've got a question about this, and then I want to jump back into the mental health aspect, because we played the song Anxiety on the show before, and I was sitting here listening to it, having a conversation, and I was like, oh, hold on one second, I gotta hear what she's saying here. I think it comes back to what you're saying, these things come out that wouldn't otherwise come out. Mm-hmm. You enjoy performing and being in front of people on stage.
I do.
So you were like one of the 1% of people on earth who enjoy it, right?
I know, it's like crazy. And like, I totally get nervous. I get super nervous. Like, my stomach's upset. I like can't eat usually. But then I walk on stage and that's all gone. And I'm like, and then I get off and I'm like, woo! All right, where's dinner?
Now, is it only music, or is it if you're speaking, or?
If I'm speaking about music,
okay.
I can do it. I wasn't super good at presentations, like in school or anything.
Okay.
That always kind of made me nervous. But if it's about like music, if I'm teaching songwriting or something, I do that sometimes, and that's really fun. So yeah, yes and no.
So we're gonna have to hang out, because being in front of people is like my thing too. I rarely meet other people, like even musicians. They're like, oh, performing makes me so nervous, and it makes me nervous too. But similar to what you're saying, once I'm up there, it's like,
yeah.
And I think I was talking to J.C. Allen last week, and
him.
Isn't he great?
He's so funny.
The wedding singer, when Adam Sandler has the microphone, he's like, you will listen to every word I say. I think it has something to do with that. It's like a weird control thing, but regardless, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now, where do you think the music comes from for you?
For me, I'm a spiritual person, and I definitely think it comes partially, like, I don't know, from the beyond.
Okay.
Like,
this is a safe place.
Yeah.
We can talk about the beyond.
I kind of feel like we're all like put here like with like a purpose, like a job, and I just think that my job was to provide solace through music to other people and myself. And so I think where the music comes from is to self-soothe a lot of the time, and also to like soothe other people. Like, anxiety is actually, I wrote that for my dad, because like I said earlier, he has panic disorder, and I grew up around it, and seeing him struggle was always really hard. And so I wrote that song, even though it is kind of sad, like I wrote it as like maybe like an anthem for him. And now whenever I play it live, it's just, he's sobbing. He's a little baby.
Yeah, his daughter wrote a song about it.
Yeah.
I'm a dad, I hear. If my daughter ever did that. So.
Yeah, oh my gosh, next level. But yeah, I think I think my music, I like connect to something a lot of the time.
Now, did it take you time to come to that realization that that's what it is that you're doing, or has that always felt natural? Like, oh, this is what I do.
It's kind of always felt natural. Like, ever since I picked up a guitar, my dad, I'm talking about him so much, but he taught me how to play guitar, and when I was 8, and that's when I started playing. And actually, this pink capo that you mentioned earlier was a gift from my uncle when I turned 8 on my 8th birthday, and I've had it ever since. It's my lucky capo, and sometimes I lose it, but it always comes back. I've lost other capos for like ever. Like, they're not coming back. But this one always comes back, and it finds a way back to me. But what was the question?
Did you always know that this is who you are and what you were meant to do, or why you're doing it?
Short answer, yes. longer answer, because I'm going to keep rambling,
Good. We like to ramble on the show.
Is, like, I just, once I picked up a guitar, I started writing songs when I was, like, 10, because I, like, was learning, when you're learning guitar, you're, like, learning other people's songs. I was so, like, like, I don't want to play other people's songs, unless it's, like, Paul McCartney or, like, Tom Petty. Those are my faves. But I just started, like, singing along to that, like, the little, like, G, like, just a G chord. And, just ever since then, it's just, like, been a rocket ship that I can't jump off. Even if I wanted to.
That's interesting. So when you play, do you play covers ever?
No.
No. Okay. Mark it down, folks. When you go to an Ellsworth show, you're getting all original music. Yeah. That's a rare thing to find.
I know. And it's not because I don't, I don't really, the reason why I don't like playing covers is because I can never remember the lyrics. And so for some reason I can remember my own, because I guess, you write them, you're with them, you're like, they come from you. And also, like, sometimes I can't even remember my own lyrics. I'm, like, notorious. Ask anybody I've ever played with, I usually mess up several lyrics during a set. And so if I had to do covers, it'd be like that times a billion.
See, I'm the total opposite, because if I play the cover song, I know the cover song, and then when I'm playing my own song, I'm like, this is my own vibe.
Yeah.
And right now I'm feeling like I'm going to say this. Yeah. Like, why did I do that? That's a terrible idea. Don't go off the cuff. Rehearse.
Sometimes you need to, though.
Depending on the show.
Yeah, maybe not the really important ones.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit. Let's talk about anxiety, mental health, all of that. How does that play into what you do as a musician? Obviously, you wrote this song for your father. Is there a mission there at all for you?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want anyone to feel like how I feel sometimes. And I'm a really big proponent of, doing what you need to do to not have to wade through the mud. One time when I first started anxiety medication, I was like 18, and I had all through high school, it was like kind of manageable, and I was like doing okay, and then I hit college, and I was away from home. It was like thousands of miles away from home, and anxious already, and then add homesickness and the pressure of college and being a music major, which I had never experienced before, was like a lot. And so my doctor said, and I'll never forget this, she said, you don't have to wade through mud. You can find a way to like take the stairs and not the puddle. And so I've really taken that with me for a long time. And I think I really am a proponent of that. Like, you can take medication, you can change this, change that, and everybody can, be a little bit easier on themselves, because ultimately, like, when you are wading through the mud and really struggling and having a hard time, that's you kind of being hard on yourself also. I don't know, I got kind of weird there, but.
No, that makes total sense. And I think you might have written another song right there. Totally. You don't have to wade through the mud. Yeah. That's, take that and run with it.
I'm writing it down.
I love it. Now, so you grew up in Sisters, Oregon.
Yes.
You moved from there to Denver to go to school, is that correct?
Actually, there's a little bit of a side note there.
Okay.
So I originally went to Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Okay.
To the Santa Fe University of Art and Design, aka SFWAD. And
sounds very official. I
very
like it.
Fancy.
Is it French?
I don't know. Probably. It was kind of not fancy though. But it was really great. It was an excellent learning experience. But it went bankrupt. The school did.
Oh no.
Like a quarter or 3 quarters through my freshman year. And so one week they were just like, well, yeah, it looks like we're going to close. So everyone, good luck and goodbye.
Wow.
Yeah. And so like then a month or 2 later, school, the semester was over and the school was closing. And I was driving to Denver to go tour UCD to make sure I liked it, because I had already applied and gotten in because they had scouts come down. They knew the college was closing, so they were like trying to help kids get into a new school.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, and so Dave Walters, actually from UCD, Dave, if you're listening, hello. And he came down and kind of recruited me and told me about Great Garrison and the great bluegrass and folk scene that was here and all that stuff, and totally sold me. And I auditioned and I got in, and so I went Sisters, New Mexico to Colorado.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. You mean to tell me there's a New Mexico? What are they going to call the other Mexico?
Oh my
Old
God.
Mexico or?
Ancient Mexico.
That's my favorite dad joke, and I got to use it in context. I'm very proud. I apologize. I took us way off course there. So, what's the audition experience like for UCD?
Yeah, well, it was a little different for me, but my audition experience, like, I think they're pretty much all the same, but like at Santa Fe, because I was out of state, I just sent in kind of like an audition video, like a tape.
Okay.
And of me playing, I think I had to play a cover, so it was like one of the only covers I got. And I still know it was Little Green by Joni Mitchell.
Okay.
And so
and you remembered all the words?
I remembered all the words.
Okay, good.
So I learned that, and I sent that same video into UCD, and then I went. I wanted to see the campus, so I went and flew out with my parents and auditioned in person too. I did 2 auditions because I was like, I'm getting in. Like, you're taking me no matter what. Because like, and then maybe this should have been a red flag, but they didn't take like SAT or ACT scores, and they didn't really care about your GPA, which was great because I'm not like, I'm not an academic person.
You're an artist.
I'm an artiste.
An artiste.
Yes.
You are French. There's a whole French thing going on here.
Yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, great. I can just audition, and it's just on like my songs and stuff. And so yeah, and usually you'd have to take a music theory test too. And so I did that for UCD. And yeah, I didn't know anything about music theory, so I was like, oh gosh, fingers crossed. But I did okay, and I think they accept you even if you got like a 20 or 30%. As long as you didn't completely fail, I think they let you in.
Got it.
But yeah.
Will you audition for us right here?
Yes.
Now. All right. Ellsworth's going to play live for us in the studio. What song are you going to play?
I think I'm going to play a brand new song.
Ooh, brand new song.
Only my patrons have heard.
All right, what's your Patreon?
My Patreon is Ellsworth the Folk Singer, and everyone should check it out and join because it's really fun, and it's a really fun group of people. And I post songwriting prompts, and it's all like behind the scenes of what I do every day, and a lot of funny in-studio videos from Hoffman and I, and yeah, it's really fun. So
Okay, before you start playing now, I gotta ask, for people who don't know, Patreon is a way to support artists. What do they get? What do they pay?
yeah, so my lowest tier I think is like $3.
Okay.
And you get pretty much everything. All the tiers are pretty similar except for 1 or 2 items, but I do a monthly Zoom concert for all of my patrons, no matter the like subscription level they are on. And so that's really fun. It's usually really interactive. And I play usually around 45 to an hour. And yeah, everyone really likes it. And then for my 2 top tier, which I think is $20 and then $40 a month, they get a little happy hour before the monthly Zoom concert. So
Ooh.
30 minutes before the Zoom concert starts, we all hop on early and excuse me, and kind of just like hang out. And if anyone has questions or like wants to know what I'm up to, I'll answer that, and we all just kind of hang out. And I usually have a little glass of wine, and everyone else has, a little beverage because it's a happy hour.
Very nice.
Yeah, and actually my monthly concert for this month is next Thursday.
Next Thursday, Patreon, Ellsworth the Folk Singer for $3, guys. You get a full hour show once a month, and I'm going to have to do the second tier so we can hang out again because this is fun. All right. We're going to play a new song, and then you're going to tell me who Matt is and why he's on Patreon with you. But let's hear the song first.
Yes.
Ellsworth with a brand new song for us right here on the Alex Rhodes Show, kpeo.org. Or if you're watching on YouTube or listening on podcast, well, you know where to find it.
You're already there.
Crisis at the border, COVID caught a disorder, panic attacks are in short order with Christmas toys. Billionaires flee to the stars, YouTubers drinking tea with the Queen, influencers selling diet pee, while Omicron's got its pick of anyone it meets. What happened to ourselves? Hurricanes and climate change, two birds of a feather, they are the same. I wanna drive to the country and change my ways. What happened to ourselves? When reality become a living hell, can we go back to growing food ourselves? Mind fuck, lazy rot, inside door shut, that's the world in a cup, force it down, drink it out. What happened to ourselves? I wanna drive to the country and change my ways. I wanna drive to the country and change. I wanna drive to the country and change my ways for good.
Well, no one else in the studio is here, so I'm going to clap. I love that song. I just realized, full disclosure for everyone who's listening, Megan and I are in a songwriting group together, and I heard that song.
Yes!
There was a video of you playing it on the porch, and it was it's that folky, very sweet, simple, very observational song, and then when you started playing, I was like, oh, I know this.
Oh, yay! I wondered if you'd like recognize it.
And full disclosure, I didn't tell Megan I was going to pull out my camera and take a video. You did very well.
Thank you.
In the moment. I apologize. I should have asked first.
Oh, no, you're good.
We'll post that on the podcast as well. It's a very fancy video. I did it in 4K on my phone. I should have used my gimbal. I mean, we're in high tech here at the Alex Rhodes Show.
Crazy.
Okay, so tell me, well, let's dig into this song a little bit, because you got a lot going on here. There are a lot of lyrics and a lot of interesting of the moment topics. Yeah. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah. So basically, the song. So I've been living with my partner's parents. We had like a really bad apartment experience last year, and with COVID and everything, we moved in with his parents in the fall of last year, so 2021, and we've been with them ever since. So we're living in the basement. Hi, Mina and Dan. I think they're listening.
All right, good.
Hi, Colin. And you know, they're parents, and they tend to watch the news at night. And my parents do the same thing. And so when I'm home with my parents, I do the same thing where when a kind of a weird headline, like if the headline just kind of jumps out at me, like it's either just like silly, like why would they be talking about that, or if it's like so sad or anything, I usually just jot it down. And so this last fall when we moved in and we're living with them, I kind of made it a habit that I would just kind of watch the news with them, which kind of did not help my mental health at all. But it created this song. So I went through my notes app at the beginning of or at the end of the year and had all these different like lines from the news. And so like the first line to the song is "An anchor caused the spill." It's about the oil spill that happened like in the fall or like late summer down in the south somewhere. I'm sorry, I can't remember. And then flooding in the south, and then abortion's not allowed. That's obviously Texas. And then one of my favorite lines of the song is, "And the NBA has scammed themselves again," because it was so funny. I think Dan was watching ESPN or something, and they were talking about how the NBA, like health insurance something, and they were like, yeah, the NBA has scammed themselves again. I was like, oh my God, that's kind of a brilliant line. And it's also just a commentary on like how messed up the whole world is, and it's just annoying and frustrating. And sometimes I wish that it wasn't the way it was. So that's what the song is about. And then my other favorite part of the song is billionaires flee to the stars, YouTubers drinking tea with the Queen, influencers selling Diet Pea, while Omicron's got its pick of anyone it meets. I just thought that was, I was like, damn.
It's
That hits home.
It is an anxiety-inducing song, I hate to tell you.
I kind of went away from my target audience with like my objective.
So in the morning, after I drop the kids off, Suzanne and I will sit and have coffee and eat cheese.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's what we have for breakfast. Cheddar and coffee, delicious. Doritos coffee, Cheetos coffee, even if you're in a pinch, also delicious. Your breath smells terrible, but it is delicious.
It sounds amazing.
And we'll scroll through the news, and we try so hard not to do it because it's like this song where you're getting hit, and we're so bombarded now through technology and our phones with all of these headlines, and some of it's clickbait.
Yeah.
But
totally.
Most of it's not good. It's not good.
Even if it is clickbait. It's like, damn.
10 ways the world is going to collapse.
Yeah.
BuzzFeed. I think it's really cool that you're able to capture that in the song, because that's a hard thing to do, to take current headlines and make it all relevant and fit together. How did you make that happen?
Well, actually, Matt was, Colin, my partner, was really helpful with that. He's such a good editor. He's also a songwriter, and he's also like a writer. And so I always show him my songs and ask him like, hey, like what needs deleted? What do I need to rework? And this song, he really helped with that. And then Matt Hoffman from Strange Americans, and he was one of my professors at UCD. That's how we met. He's now my producer and produced my first album. We went through this song and helped a lot too, and kind of, before it was kind of AABA style, and now it's more like verse chorus style, and so that really helped. And we also, I think what I like the most about the song is that it kind of has a little bit of hopeful energy through the hook, maybe. Just, I want to drive to the country, because I've been noticing, if you're on TikTok, there...
Sometimes, yes.
Oh.
You haven't seen my viral video yet?
I haven't.
No one has.
Oh, good, I didn't miss it. But there's just like the cottagecore aesthetic, it's and like I feel like so many people now are posting these really romantic looking videos of just wanting to buy a cabin in the woods and live off the land, and I also want to do that, so that's where that line came from.
Very, very nice. And it is uplifting and
Depressing.
maybe we should all move to Sisters, Oregon.
Maybe.
It seems like that's kind of out in the country.
Or Lyons, Colorado.
Lyons is wonderful.
So beautiful.
We were very fortunate to have an editor in the house.
Yes. It's so nice.
I take some writing classes with Amy Spees. She's a teacher at Song School in Lyons.
Yeah.
And she's big on editing, and she's made me so much better at that editing process. Can you talk a little bit? Because I think sometimes as an artist or even as someone who listens to music, you think, oh, well, they're just able to make that come out. And sometimes, like maybe once a year, I think it comes out like that.
Totally.
But how does it usually happen?
Yeah. So one thing that I have to be really careful about is if I get into editor brain too soon, then like the song, like I kind of end up either ripping the song to shreds when it was actually maybe like it had like potential, and now I'm like, well, I'm just scrapping it. And so I like to keep the creative mode in the creative mode, and then pause after that, and then maybe wait a day or two, and then come back, play it, and be like, oh, okay, I kind of have like a fresher mindset, and you can kind of see maybe where the holes are. And then also, it's funny when Colin is brutally honest, and sometimes he'll be like, "That's bad." That's what I need, you know. Everybody needs that.
Yeah.
And but I definitely think with editing, I like to get a lot of people's opinions. So like Colin, Matt, my parents. My mom is also horrendously brutally honest. Like she will tell you, she tells me, and it was so funny because what song was it? It's the other one I'm gonna play tonight. It's called Words I'd Never Say. She was like, I don't like it. And I kind of went back to the drawing board, maybe edited a couple lines here and there, and then like months later, maybe 6 months later, I was back home. We were around the campfire. I was playing some songs. I played that song, and she goes, "Oh my God, that's the best song, yeah. Ah, that's it. That's the winner." And I was like, "You hated this 6 months ago."
6 months ago, you broke my heart.
Yeah.
Now you go home and hang out around the campfire with your parents and play music.
I do.
I'm so jealous. We do that a little bit in my family, but not around the campfire. We don't have a campfire setting, but that sounds so romantic. Like we were just talking about getting out of the country.
I know. I'm like, what even was my childhood? Sometimes I'll tell people things and they're like, that's not normal. Most people don't have that experience.
Maybe that's how you end up as an artist.
Yeah, totally.
Well, let's jump into that. So are you a full-time artist? Do you work part-time, work full-time? What is this for you?
Yeah, I have a part-time job. So this is kind of like part-time. I would say this is like maybe 60-40, and sometimes music's 60 and sometimes it's 40. And my job's 60 or sometimes it's 40. But my day job is I'm a podcast producer for a roofing publication. And it's owned by my mom, and it's called rooferscoffeeshop.com. And so I do that, which is also, it's nice, it's kind of still in the audio realm. And I took several audio classes in school, and so I kind of know my way around Logic and different places, different things. And we go to trade shows and we do live webinars and stuff. So I'm like the show coordinator and like show producer. And this webinar show that we do called Coffee Conversations actually won an award. So I'm an award-winning producer.
Award-winning producer Ellsworth right here
in roofing
on the Alex Rhodes Show. She came in and was telling me this, and I was like, oh, great. Now I feel judged in everything I do tonight.
No, your setup is chef's kiss.
Yes! You heard it from an award winner yourself. So tell us what's coming up next for you. Shows, recording, what's next?
Yeah, I'm hoping to release some singles this year. This is kind of a secret, but I do have a holiday song in the works for this next holiday season.
All right.
I wrote it this Christmas, and it'll be coming out next Christmas.
That's how they always. You get in that mode around the holidays, and you're like, well, I can't release this December 25th.
Yeah. January now. What am I going to do? So I'm really excited. I feel like holiday songs are so hard to write, and like Christmas or like any holiday song is just really difficult because I feel like every time I've tried before, it's been so cheesy sounding, and you're like, man, is this good cheese or is this bad cheese? Or like, is it a little moldy? Like, I can't tell. So hopefully it's not cheesy.
This is a funny conversation because I was talking to my dad. My dad taught me to play guitar too, so we have so much in common.
Oh my
We're gonna hang out.
Yeah.
And he plays a lot at my parents' church, and he plays a lot of Christmas music, obviously, around Christmas. And last year, I thought it would be fun to do a YouTube cover of I Wish It Was Christmas Today, that SNL skit. So
Yeah.
I was doing that, and my dad was like, do you play other Christmas music, or do you write that? And I was like, here's my thing with Christmas music. 2020-ish years, it's a subject that we've had a lot of time to cover, and I don't know if I'm the guy to do it. So what you're saying about it's difficult to write a holiday song or a Christmas song, I agree. It's hard to do it and not be cheesy.
Yeah.
It's hard to do it and not be just completely off base.
Yeah. Totally.
Are there jingle bells in the recording? No, that's what I want to know.
There might be.
Yes. And who is producing this?
That'll be Matt Hoffman.
Matt Hoffman, who's on your Patreon. Tell us about this.
Yes, so Matt Hoffman is my producer, and he's a wonderful guy. Hey, Matt. I love his family, his wife, Amanda, and their little daughter. Oh, so cute. And, but he's in this band called Strange Americans, and then I met him through school, obviously. He was my songwriting professor, and we had like one-on-one lessons, and it's kind of like we still have one-on-one lessons, except they're in the studio. But for my senior recital, or kind of senior like thesis project, I wanted to do a full-length album, and that was Ellsworth, the album that I released last year. And he graciously, I was kind of looking around for studios and had a very small budget because I was a college student, and he was like, well, we could just record it in my basement, and I could like mix it and stuff, and it could be your senior thesis. I was like, great, that's awesome, let's do it. And so we recorded that whole album in his basement, and he played most of the parts, and then I played all the rest of the parts and sang, obviously, and played guitar and did some other things, and then Ben Pisano mixed and mastered it, who's also a UCD alum, and yeah, I'm very, very proud of that album, and didn't think it would go as far as it has gone, and it's really cool, and a lot of people like it, and I was kind of just started as like a little senior project, and so it was really cool, and yeah, Matt's amazing. He's an incredible musician, like can kind of play anything he touches, which is annoying. And
Yes, those people that you hang out with.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Yeah. And he's also the drummer in my band when I have a backing band with me live, which is really fun, and I just started doing that this last year too. And so yeah, and he makes appearances on my Patreon when I do videos in the studio.
Now, you said earlier you do some podcasting and you know your way around Logic. Why, and this is a question that I think a lot of musicians deal with, or creatives in general, why not produce it yourself?
It's an excellent question. My answer to that is I'm just not that skilled in it, and I'm also really kind of picky, and I just want it to sound really good. A lot of times I just don't know how to like do that. and like
that's the best answer I've heard. Yes.
I just like don't know. And so yeah, I would prefer, and I also really like with Matt, we can be so creative together, and he really helped, like the songs really find themselves in the recording process because I think I have someone else to bounce off of. But it's great because at the end of the day, it's my song, and you know I have final say, and so yeah,
I completely understand for people who haven't been in a recording software or DAWs, as it's called in the biz. The biz, that's what they call it, your doll. It can be really difficult to say, I can hear it in my head. I know how that band or this band makes that sound, and I want to do something similar. There are thousands of options or ways to make that happen, and I don't know how to make that happen, so I completely understand. So having someone else to bounce that off of.
Yeah. Oh my
Someone
God.
who's probably very skilled in a DAW.
Yeah, he's super skilled. He's produced his own albums before and like Strange American albums.
Does he produce the Strange American album?
He doesn't do all of them, but I know he has done at least one in the past. So yeah, he's a very talented person.
Excellent.
Yes.
Will you... Oh, I'm going to have to restart the video. It's okay, though. Will you play another song for us?
Yes, I would.
All right, Ellsworth's going to play another song for us right here in the studio, kpeo.org if you're listening live. If you are not listening live, if you're watching on a podcast, which right now you'll only be watching one camera angle because the other camera went out. It's okay. If you aren't watching live, be sure to tune in kpeo.org on Monday nights, 7 to 9. The Alex Rhodes Show. We talk to independent artists about their trade, about their music, about their art. We play independent artists. If you'd like to get your music on or you'd like to submit an application to be interviewed, send an email to info@kpeo.org. Just put Alex in the title and I will get it. What song are you going to play for us?
I'm going to play the song that my mom didn't like at first, called The Words I'd Never Say.
All right. The Words I Will Never Say by Ellsworth.
All those words in your mouth, will they ever make a sound? Nothing seems to make you proud. Do you want a cigarette? Will that take your mind off it? Or something that gets you bent? This is no longer on me. I'm trying to see and read between your lines to spare my feeling safe. I'll push the conflict away. Oh, my guts are on the table now, now, with all I never say. All words I'd never say. Like you, I've been lying awake. Wish I was light years away. I'll take this feeling to my grave. Would you leave me in this crowd? I've been living high and backed out. I think I get the picture now. This is no longer on me. I'm trying to see and read between your lines to spare my feelings safe. I'll push the conflict away. Oh, my guts are on the table now, now, with all the words I never say. All the words I never say. All the words, all the words, all the words, all the words I never say. I never say. I never say. I never say.
All the Words I Never Say. Ellsworth in the studio. That one's going to stick in my head later. I like the melody on that a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So I just want to point out too, she has a phone here with her lyrics out. That's how fresh these songs are. You're not just going to find this anywhere. This is not super well rehearsed. This is raw. This is what we do on the Alex Rhodes Show.
Yeah. Woo!
Now, we were talking a little bit earlier, and I think we can talk about it on the show. I have two little girls.
Yes.
They're 5 and 8. They're the nicest people in the entire world. They really are. I don't know why they're so nice. I was never as nice as they are. But I'll take it. And they love musicals and they watch a lot of Disney.
Oh.
Do you know anything about Disney?
I know a little.
What do you know about Disney?
Well, I know that on season 2, episode 8, at the very end of the episode on the show Diary of a Future President, you will hear my song Growing Pains.
You got a sync.
I did.
Which is huge. And sync, for people who don't know, sync is synchronization, matching the music to film. And it's a really, really cool thing. So congratulations. Cool. Especially Disney. Disney's huge. So tell us again, it's season 2, episode 8 of
Diary of a Future President.
All right. My kids will be watching. Tell us about that process, how that happens, because as I told you earlier, that's like my dream. And I've listened to all these podcasts and all these ways to do sync, and it sounds, very up in the air and it's very fluid. So tell us how it happened for you.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got introduced to this showrunner, Alana, who created the show and wrote it, and she really liked my music and introduced me to the music supervisor for the show, and her name is Janet. So nice. Everyone's so nice, so lovely, and I ended up playing like a little Zoom concert for kind of some of the head honchos of the show, and I was like, okay, this is go time. This is freaking go time. This has got to be the best performance I've ever put on. And it was like via Zoom, so I was like, it's got to be like times 10. And they really liked it. And so Janet proposed a couple of my songs. I sent Janet like the instrumentals and the files for the songs. And she, like, most of my songs are kind of sad. And so I was like, I really think Growing Pains is going to be the one you're going to want. And because it's my most upbeat, and it's also about like growing up, which is great for the show, great vibe. And so they were like, okay, fingers crossed, like, they might still end up picking another song, but they ended up really loving Growing Pains for this end scene of episode 8. And it was so awesome because I got the call from Janet. I was like eating dinner with my partner Colin, and I'm like, oh my God, Janet's calling me. Everyone shut up. It's just me and him and our dog. Everyone be quiet. And she's like, so you got the placement. And I was like, hold on, I gotta go pee my pants. I was like, it was such a dream come true. I was like jumping up and down the kitchen, crying, immediately called my parents, and they also offered me like a very generous amount of money for just a minute and 20 seconds. And it was just like an absolute dream come true. And I hope I continue to do that stuff because it's just so cool. And I love film and TV shows. Like, I'm obsessed. I probably watch too much TV, if we're being honest. I think I do, but I just love it. And so when that happened, it was seriously like dream come true.
That's amazing. And I'm going to pause for 1 second, but we're jumping right back into that.
Yes.
In case this video over here dies, because I have about an hour on the SD card. If you're watching on the YouTube after the fact, keep listening because I'm having too much fun. We're going to keep talking and it'll just be maybe I'll put up a graphic, but the video might go out. It's okay. So you love music in TV and film. I do too. That's
so cool.
I hear these songs and, you have those moments, at least for me, where you're watching this film or this TV show and you're like, that's it. I'm melting. I'm falling in my couch. Just, you hit it. You nailed it. What are those moments for you?
Oh my gosh, totally. Man, I feel like my brain just like went blank, but there's so many moments.
If you want me to start, I'll
yeah, all right.
This is your interview, but I'll jump right in.
Let me get the notebook out. But the Notebook, that's a good one. Like, I think honestly the score for The Princess Bride, it's by oh gosh, it's not Eric Clapton, it's oh, my dad's gonna kill me.
Oh, I know this. It's somebody famous like Eric Clapton. I forget who it is.
The guy from Dire Straits.
Mark Knopfler.
Mark Knopfler. God, I love that guy. His music is so good, and it's so like niche because like no one else could sound like him. Like him. He's like you hear it and it's like that's Mark Knopfler.
That solo from Sultans of Swing.
Oh God, so good, so good. But he did the soundtrack for Princess Bride, and it's so good, so good. And then there's this musical called Sing Street, and it's by what's the guy's name? I don't remember. He's the director of the movie, and he did Once. Do you know that musical?
Yes.
Yes.
Glenn Hansard, Once.
Yes. But the same guy that made that movie made this movie, Sing Street, and it's about this little kid, like teenager, in 1980s Dublin, Ireland, that forms a band because this girl that he likes asked if he was in a band, and he said yes, but he wasn't. And so he was like, quick, I need a band. And so it's all about like how he forms the band. And so the guy, I'm blanking on his name, wrote all the songs for the movie or for the musical, and they're just so good, and they're like 80s theme, like total like 80s songs.
Synth kind of.
Yeah, like synth.
Great.
And there's this one scene where this kid is like playing the guitar on his bed and like writing this song for the girl. And it's all about getting the girl, and oh God, and he's singing it, and he's like recording it into his little cassette like tape recorder, and then he gives the tape recorder like the thing to her, and then she listens to it, and she's like crying and like I love you too, and it's oh my God, but then the music swells and he's like singing, it's great.
I gotta go watch Sing Street.
Sing Street.
Okay, because I loved Once.
Yes.
I remember my friend who I was in a band with in college told me, he was like, anyone who's ever played music with other people just needs to watch this movie. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
I'll watch it.
He was completely right, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then he also has another movie called Begin Again, and that's about a musician too. And they're just, all three of those movies, so good.
Okay, did you ever watch 6 Feet Under?
I don't think I did.
Oh. That's mine. It's kind of it would be almost cliche to say now because it's so good. It's that montage at the end and Sia sings Breathe Me. And the whole montage plays out and it's just, I go back and watch it sometimes.
Oh,
like,
yeah, just the montage.
Like, yeah, do I want to make myself really emotional for about 5 minutes?
Hell yeah, I do. Man, you can't beat Sia. She's great. What a great songwriter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now tell me, who are some of your influences and artists that maybe they're new artists now that are popping up that you're into?
Yeah. Some like OG influences would definitely be like Joni Mitchell, Paul McCartney, and the Beatles, and then Tom Petty. Those are like influences from my dad.
They're decent songwriters.
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would die for Paul McCartney. I love him. And my dad has seen Tom Petty like 5 times. And I had the opportunity to go twice, but something happened each time and I was never able to see him before he passed. And I'm still a little broken up about it. I'm like such a big Tom Petty fan.
This is way too much information, but... So I sing my girls a song every night before they go to bed.
Oh.
And Tom Petty's like a pretty... I'll switch up the songs, but Tom Petty makes it like once or twice a week. And here's a great story because, I'll just butt in on your interview and tell my story.
Please do.
I took my daughter skiing. She was 4, I think, at the time. It was her first lesson, or second lesson. Because after her first lesson, she didn't want to ski with me. She was done. And the second lesson, she was like, yeah, Dad, let's go skiing. And I was like, yes, this is my day. And we skied until the lifts closed. I mean, she was into it. And I was like, this is awesome.
Oh, my God.
We get in the car. And we're about to get on I-70. There's tons of traffic,
Yeah.
I give her a snack and some water. And we're just flipping through the radio. And Free Fallin' is on the radio. And she says from the back seat, Dad, leave this song on. I like this song. We're driving in traffic on I-70, singing Free Fallin' together, and I am crying my face off. This is the best dad moment I have ever had at the time. I'm sure there will be more, but that was top of the top.
Oh, my God. did.
Tom Petty, the man knew how to write a song.
He did. And what a chorus writer.
Right?
The hooks for days. For days.
Thematic, free-falling, time to move on. And he just slides verses in there that,
Yes. I love that song.
Oh, so good.
So good.
I'm glad we're having a little emotional moment
I
right
get
here.
emotional about Tom Petty. That is
Usually
such a
we
cool
just play
moment.
music on this show and I talk, but we'll have a little cry later. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. Oh my gosh, what a moment with your daughter.
Yeah, that was great. Are there any new artists that you've heard that you're into right now?
Oh my gosh, yes. Speaking of TikTok, like so many artists have gotten like totally just blown up over TikTok, and one of them that I love that my friend introduced me to, or not in person, but like showed me their music, is Leith Ross.
Okay.
They spell their name. I don't know what their pronouns are, so I'm going to use they, them. But their name is Leith. So like Keith, but with an L.
Okay, yeah.
And oh my gosh, you should play some of their 2 songs, Everyone I've Never Met and I'd Have to Think About It are my favorites, and you should play them on the radio here.
Leith Ross.
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of music are we talking?
Definitely like folky singer-songwriter, like just like them and their guitar, and like maybe a little backing instrument here and there. Really good. And then I love Phoebe Bridgers. I would die for Phoebe Bridgers.
I just hit the mic. She said Phoebe Bridgers, and I hit the mic.
You lost control.
Okay. That new album is incredible.
Oh my god, that's so good.
So I don't know if you've heard here, but I've played it before. I could probably figure out how to play it tonight. But Phoebe Bridgers doing a cover of Manchester Orchestra, The Gold. And it's this really haunting, creepy. She's just so good.
Oh,
she's so good.
So good.
Yeah.
It's stupid how good she is.
Yeah.
But yeah, her and yeah, I think that's it. I'm like super into Angel Olsen too. She's not very new, but yeah, I love her. Yep.
Do you want to play another song for us?
Sure.
All right.
In person, live.
In person, or we can play a recorded song. You call it.
Let's play When You Do.
All right, let's play When You Do by Ellsworth. We're going to do a couple of station IDs for you. This is kpeo.org, World Community Radio. You're listening to the Alex Rhodes Show. We have Ellsworth live in the studio, and we're going to listen to When You Do.
This is why you work so hard to pay the mortgage. Because home is more than 4 walls and a roof. It's that porch swing on a summer evening. It's everybody over for Sunday dinner, and your family sleeping in their own beds at night. Making Home Affordable is a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov.
Good night, Mama.
This is why. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dana Salzman, and you are listening to KPEO, World Community Radio.
Broadcasting live from the mile-high city of Denver, Colorado, and Toronto, Canada, this is KPEO, World Community Radio. You're listening to The Alex Rhodes Show.
Sensitivity's drowning in an energy drink. Miles apart, hearing the same melody. Oh, it's over now, but it still stings. She always said it was the little
When You Do, Ellsworth on KPEO.org. You're listening to the Alex Rhodes Show. It is Monday night, 7 to 9. We do this show featuring independent artists, interviewing independent artists, and tonight, Ellsworth is in the studio. She's played a couple songs for us. Will we get another song in the studio? Okay, great. Before we do that, we're going to chat about what you got coming up next.
Yeah.
We know you're working on an album. What else is happening?
Yeah. I have a couple shows coming up. I'm going to be playing up at iPie, the pizza place.
Yes, with Paul Iwancio.
Yes.
Yes. He's a great guy.
Oh, good. I haven't met him in person yet, so I'm very excited.
One of the nicest people you'll meet.
Really?
Truly.
He seems like it over email.
I feel like we say that about a lot of people tonight.
I know.
There are really a lot of nice people in the
So
music industry.
Nice. Yeah, well, the Denver community, like the music community here, is like top-notch, world-class. So nice, especially in singer-songwriter, folky, well, in all the genres, honestly. Everyone's just really kind and supportive. But yeah, I have a show Friday night, iPie in Wheat Ridge. It's a songwriter round. Super excited. Kind of, low key. Come get some pizza and just listen to some folk music. And then Sunday, I'm playing a benefit concert for the Boulder Fire.
Oh, great.
And that's
not great about the fire, but it's great that you're playing for the benefit because that's that was a really scary thing.
Oh my gosh, so scary. I had a friend whose parents' house burned down.
No way.
Yeah, it was obviously so many houses burned down. It was like, what a way to usher out 2021. That was just insane. But yeah, I'm playing Sunday night at SRS Denver, which is a performance rehearsal space, kind of in this area, like around 5 Points.
Okay, great.
Rhino area, and I'm playing with a band called Chop House, and then a band called Redundancy, and there's another band, but I'm blanking on their name. And then little old me, little songwriter in front of all these big rock bands.
So you're playing a solo show?
Yeah, both of these are solo shows, and then I'm actually playing a songwriter round in Nashville.
Oh wow!
On February 8th.
Where in Nashville?
At Commodore Grill.
Okay.
I don't know where in town that is, but it's Tuesday, February 8th. And then I'm going to be in town in Nashville doing some meetings and some other music things and hanging out with my music pals in Nashville. And then I'll be back here to play a show at Lost Lake on February 12th with Jen Cordy and Britt Devins.
All right.
Super stoked for that one. If you come to any of the shows, come to that one.
Now, I know one of your Nashville buddies, Shana in a dress.
Yes.
Will you be seeing her when you're in Nashville?
I think so, yeah. Okay. I'm going to be staying with my friend, Caroline Stump. We actually host a podcast together all about songwriting. And
what's this podcast?
I know. It's called The Songwriter Diaries.
Okay.
And you can stream it anywhere that podcasts are found. And we're in our 7th season, and you should be on it, actually, totally.
Oh, I'd love to be.
Oh, my God. Okay, season 8. We're booked for season 7, but season 8,
you're
you're
booked out season 7. That's how Ellsworth rolls.
Yeah.
She's an award-winning podcaster, people.
But, yeah, so Caroline, I'll see Shana, I'll see Katie Herzig, who's friends with Matt, and then play a show, see some roofing friends probably.
All right. There's a lot of construction going on in Nashville.
Oh, totally. Totally. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nashville, Denver, Oregon, those are the markets right now.
Yeah.
Now tell me, because this is a difficulty, I think, for a lot of artists, how do you go from, okay, cool, I'm pretty good at this. I have recorded music. I'm going to go get a show. How do you do that?
It's so hard. And I hated it when people said this to me when I was starting out, but it really is who you know. It's so about connections. Like, you can send cold emails till the cows come home. But, unless you have a connection with someone, like a friendship or even just like a loose acquaintanceship, that's how you're booking shows these days. But that show in Nashville, I just cold emailed them. I was like, hey, I'm going to be in town. I really want to play a writer's round. Please book me, please. And they were like, nah, sure. So sometimes, a lot of times I think the cold emails do work, but like the Lost Lake show I'm playing on February 12th Britt was like, hey, we need an opener. Want to play? And I was like, heck yeah, I want to play. And like same with the Boulder benefit concert. My friend was like, hey, I need a solo act. Do you want to play? And then Paul reached out to me for the Songwriter and I iPie. Like I didn't go to any of them for those shows. They came to me. So it's really about like just, all you got to do is make friends. It's really easy to
make
shows,
friends.
as long as you have
You're
friends.
putting it out there. We can go all metaphysical if you'd like.
Just got to make friends. But the hardest part, we were talking about this, is marketing. And like, oh my gosh, getting people to said shows is the hardest part. Like, again, like I could book shows all day long from friends or whatever. But if I'm booking too many in a row or too many in one town or whatever, and I only have so many friends that can come to the shows, then like sometimes I've played shows with like 2 people in the audience and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
What have I done?
Yeah.
And then the venue is like, we didn't make any money. And I'm like, neither did I.
Yeah.
And they're like, pay us. And I'm like, please no, I don't want to. So that's the hardest part, is just getting people to shows and making sure people know about it. And you really have to be personal about it, is what I've found, like personally texting people, friends. But then again, like if you're playing 2 big shows in a week and you're texting them multiple times for both shows, and then they're like either going to just eventually stop responding or not come at all, or only they can, come to one show or whatever. So it's hard that way.
Now, how do you handle those situations where, because I've been there before as myself, 2 people are in the bar.
Yeah. God, that's the worst.
The booker is like,
They're like staring.
We didn't
down.
sell any booze. We didn't, the $5, $10 that those people paid to come in. How do you handle those situations?
You gotta be your bubbly self. You just gotta be honest and be like, look, I'm sorry. I thought more people would come out, and usually they're not like upset. They're just maybe a little like, damn, didn't make any money, because at the end of the day we all live in a capitalistic world. Not even just a country, we're all capitalists, and so people need to make money to survive and to live, and if you want, that's like the hard part. And so you can't really blame them for being mad, but it's also like usually they're not like mad, but I have had to pay venues before, like when I don't get enough people out, like especially if you have pre-sale tickets, you have to pay for those sometimes. Yep. And sometimes you play a show and you're out $200.
So this is for friends of musicians.
Give us money. No, come to our shows.
Come to the show.
Please.
But buy the ticket, because, and this does happen a lot, where you front the money for the tickets to then sell. And if you're unable to sell them, the artist eats that money. And it's already a pretty low margin business.
Yeah.
And, I think some people would say, well, don't get into that business. But as we said earlier, it just comes out.
Yeah.
You're not able to control it. You want to be on stage.
Yeah.
This is what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. So totally, like, and especially like, buy the tickets from the artist. Like if you're going to go to the show, even if you don't, sometimes like I just buy pre-sales from people, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to make it, but I'll buy a pre-sale because I know you need to sell them. And I'll be, if I come, cool. If I don't, it's $10, or $12 or 15, my mentality is like, I would want someone to do that for me. So I'll do it for my friends and stuff. But then usually that also gets me to go to the show. It gets me to take my PJs off and put real people clothes on and go out to the show.
Yeah.
If I buy a pre-sale, and then also it looks good for them. Like if a band sells like 100 pre-sale tickets or like sells out a venue, like that venue is going to have that band back. And, so yeah, buy pre-sale tickets from your friends.
If we get nothing else from this show, buy pre-sale tickets from your friends. All right. I wanted to ask you one other question, and then we're going to get into rapid fire.
Ooh. Okay.
Who did your promo photos? Because I think they look lovely, and I just wanted to ask who did those and what that experience was for you.
Yes. Shout out to Glenn Ross. Glenn Ross did my photos. He does all the portraits for bands at UMS, and he does a lot of, live show, concert photography. And he's amazing. He's so talented. He's so professional. We just did it in his house with like a little backdrop behind me, and I brought some cool outfits, and we did like the double exposure. That's what it's called. Double exposure. And we were trying to think of it earlier. And so like I would move or he would click it and then I'd move. So it'd be like in motion. And I really wanted just kind of like that artistic vibe, because I feel like all of my artist photos before were very like senior portrait-esque. Like I was sitting in a field with my guitar and it's like smiling. I wanted something, a little edgier, a little more grown up, a little more fun, because I feel like this album kind of ushered in a new era for my music and for myself. So yeah, Glenn Ross.
The new era of Ellsworth, brought to you by Glenn Ross. Well, they look great. And now it's time for rapid fire. It's just a few quick questions.
Okay.
Which you have a very short time limit to answer.
Okay.
And if you don't answer them within the time limit, absolutely nothing happens. Coke or Pepsi?
Neither. I don't like soda.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Puppies or kittens?
Both.
Oh!
I'm an animal lover.
McCartney or Petty?
Oh my God.
I knew it.
Oh my God. That's so hard. Oh my God. I hope my dad isn't listening. Tom Petty.
Final one. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
I have a few. I really like strawberry. And I really, because I am strawberry.
There we are.
And I really like mint, and I really like coffee flavor.
Mint with the chocolate chip in it? Or just mint?
Or both. I like both. I like it either way.
I've never found it without the chocolate chip.
I don't know if I have either, but I would like it.
I think I would like it without the chocolate. I'm not a big chocolate fan myself.
Yeah, I'm not either. It has to be really good chocolate ice cream if I'm gonna what's that oat milk brand? Oatly, is that the brand?
I'm not sure.
They make ice cream, and oh my God, this ice cream is so freaking good.
Lactose free, nonetheless.
Lactose-free,
all right, which is yes.
I have a sensitive tummy.
Yeah, some people do.
I do. Boy, is it sensitive, and I cannot do dairy. And they have a strawberry flavor that's out of this world. Their chocolate flavor is so good too. I love it, and their mint chip is really good too.
All right.
Yep.
Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, the video went out a long time ago. Usually these things, they take like 45 minutes to an hour, but I've had a ton of fun with Ellsworth. Thank you so much for coming in. This has been a blast.
This has been so fun.
And if you wouldn't mind, do you want to play another song for us?
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to have an oldie, as she says, right here in the studio, kpeo.org, Monday nights, 7 to 9 Mountain Time. Take us away. Tell us what you're playing.
I'm going to play a song that's on my album, Ellsworth, and it's called Close the Door. And I wrote it after one of my very first, serious breakups, when I was, a little more upset than, you usually would.
Than those casual flings.
Yeah, yeah. Not that happens a lot, but... Oh, boy. Actually, hold on. Let me tune that.
Now, I'm not an expert. I don't have an expert ear, but it sounded like you were a little out of tune there. So, she's just going to take a moment and tune up, and I will cover this time by talking about serious relationships and how we're going out on a breakup song, but that's all right.
Yes.
Bird flew the garden, 'cause the hills, they were on fire. Just like my heart when him anymore. I thought that I could walk away. I thought my dreams wouldn't hold you on display. I thought that I wouldn't think of you every day. The moon's getting farther away, bringing with it higher tides and drunken haze. Just like the ice caps I'm bleeding, they keep going away. I thought that I could walk away. I thought my dreams wouldn't hold you on display. I thought that I wouldn't think of you every day. Now I'm walking down the road, yelling and screaming, goddamn. Sitting by the phone, waiting for a call, realizing now that it doesn't work at all. But through the garden, 'cause the hills, they were on fire. Just like my heart when you closed the door.
Lovely. I love how you close the door. We're going to close the door on this interview. Thank you so much. This has been so much fun. We'll have to have you back.
Thank you
Ellsworth. Anything else you want to tell us before you take off?
Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
This is my first time on live radio. So fun. And everyone join my Patreon. Let's be friends.
Patreon, Ellsworth the folk singer. That's also your Instagram handle.
Yes.
Facebook.
Yes.
Twitter.
Yes. I'm not on Twitter, but yes.
Website.
Yes, ellsworththefolksinger.com.
Go check her out. Thanks so much for coming on. We're going to get back to the music on the Alex Rhodes Show. It's Monday nights, 7 to 9, kpeo.org, World Community Radio.
If you're a single man under the age of 35, you'd probably like to know what the ladies are looking for on an online dating site.